Some of you may or may not have heard about the story that I'm about to tell you right now, but I'm going to give you a play-by-play of what happened. And considering who you have in the picture and where the incident happened at, none of the consequences that came about should surprise remotely anyone. So this man's name is Tamario Rolle. I hope I'm pronouncing his first name correctly. And this man was in Miami. So you know we headed to Florida, so you know it's some fuckery about to occur right now. Not so much on his end, but the way it was handled, it should not have gone down the way that it did. So basically what happened was you have this man, Tamario Rolle, who was sitting inside of this restaurant. It almost looked like a hole-in-the-wall type of spot. And he was sitting there eating some fries. And there was another guy that was sitting across from him. He looked like he could have been a Hispanic or a Latino, however you want to put it, guy. And he just started talking to Tamario. It looked like they were having a discussion that led to an altercation. Now, the other guy, he got up out of his seat, went over to Tamario, and just started hitting on him while he's sitting there eating, unprovoked. It was an unprovoked attack, and the aggressor was the one that started it. So he kind of hit him a few times. He put him in some kind of headlock type of position. Tamario was able to get out of the headlock, and then he ran to the back. A few seconds later, Tamario comes back out with something in his hand. The something that was in his hand was a pistol. So the aggressor saw that and ran out of the door. Tamario ran behind him and shot him 4 times in the leg. He didn't kill him. He just did enough to injure him, and the guy fell right there, I believe, in the middle of the street because he was starting to run across the street. So you would think that this would be considered to be self-defense. Or is it? And let me tell you right now, it should be. But in living in the state of Florida, and if you are a black person and you defend yourself, or any place for that matter, they won't see it that way. So he tried to use the stand your ground defense. And as usual, for a black person, it didn't work. Because guess what ended up happening? Tamario Rolle ended up being charged with 1 count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, although he was the one that was defending himself from the aggressor. And let me see, I think the person's name is somewhere in here. His name is Henry Palmier Cristo. I think that's how you say his name. So he was defending himself against this guy. He shot him, and he ended up getting hit with the charge. And nothing, and I do mean absolutely nothing, happened to the guy that started the attack. He didn't get charged with one thing. Like, he didn't get charged with assault, because that's what it should have been. He should have got charged with assault at least. But they charged him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I'm trying to figure out, does this stand your ground law? Not only do we know that it doesn't apply for black people, but now it seems like, does the stand your ground law have to mean you have to kill your attacker? I'm starting to think that's in the fine print. Now, if he would have killed this guy, now knowing he got charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, he would have got charged with probably 2nd-degree murder with a deadly weapon, which means he would have been looking at a lot of years behind bars. I don't know who's going to handle his case, but see, he needs a damn good lawyer, a damn good attorney to get him off, because that right there is some bullshit. But like I said, that stand your ground law thing, it never works. If y'all remember, a few years ago, there was a story that came out where a black man in Georgia, not in Florida, but it was in Georgia, where I believe they had the stand your ground law at, and he tried to defend himself against these palm-colored males. It was him and his girlfriend, and they were trying to like attack him, and then he got the best of them and he shot him, and he tried to use stand your ground, and they got him on that. Remember the woman down there who was in a domestic dispute with her ex-husband, and she shot warning shots in the air. She tried to use stand your ground, but they was going to give her like 20 years for firing warning shots. So, but you notice that stand your ground law, it always works for everybody else. Now, when I saw the image of the guy that was the aggressor for this case, he kind of reminded me of a more bigger George Zimmerman. Like, if you was able to look at the surveillance footage, and I'll leave the link so you can actually see it for yourself, he kind of reminds me of a bigger, taller George Zimmerman. I bet if the shoe was on the other foot, he probably would not have gotten charged with anything. And I'm willing to bet that the guy probably would have shot to kill Tamario Rolle instead of shooting to injure. At least he had he was gracious enough not to kill him. He just shot to injure him, at least to bring him down. They said 4 shots to the leg, which means he's a damn good shooter, because he shot this man while he was in motion. So if he wanted to kill him, he could have, but he didn't. Because he was like, you know what, it's not that serious, but I'm going to get mine, because he definitely came up to me and started some shit, and I'm not going to just let it slide. But he got charged and the aggressor didn't. And like I said, again, this happened in Florida, where we know that the history of Florida, it is what it is. I think we all got a good look at that when the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman event happened back in 2012. What Florida was like for those of us from the outside looking in who never at least lived in Florida. But those in Florida probably already knew what it was like. But the world got a view of what Florida was on, and Florida ain't been right since. But I just wanted to bring this story to y'all. I'm probably going to now have to stay on top of this one and see what the outcome of this one is, because that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, it is basically putting a precedent out there that black people cannot defend themselves even when we're the ones being attacked, unless we're being attacked by another black person. Then in that case, they know it's a one-up that one person is probably going to die. But they don't like us defending ourselves. I think it absolutely scares a good chunk of a certain part of society to even see a black person hold a gun in their hand. I think that legit scares the fuck out of them. For real. Because look at what happened in Dallas when the whole thing happened with Michael Johnson, with those 2 brothers who was walking around with those military style weapons just for protection. And they thought they was the ones that was the shooters. And they took their guns and didn't even offer them so much as apology. But they had the nerve to arrest them and throw them in jail for a little bit of time. I think they did get their guns back, but I don't even think they wanted to give them their guns back. Because they have to put into your ear and into your face that the minute we hold a gun or have a gun in our hand, that we are just going to just do everything in our power to shoot everything up. But look at, the last few mass shooters and the mass shooters over the collective of last year or the last couple of years. But they want to watch when we carry a firearm. I'm telling you, that damn Second Amendment is some loopholes in it. And we know who the loophole is for. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and have the notifications turned on. And I will talk to you in the next one.